G'day guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do my tips for round 9 of the season. Ramping up, it's getting wild out there. We've got Zachy on top of the table there, 2-3 to be precise, on 53. And I'm sitting 12th on the table, always with a little bit of work to do, sitting on 50. Margin's not particularly amazing, but that's alright. 6 last week, not too shabby. We'll take it. Average for the round was 5.8. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm feeling a bit of a redemption week, though. It's been that kind of year where sides have looked amazing and then other sides have looked quite ordinary, but then been able to respond. So, there's plenty of sides that had pretty disappointing games and really need to, lift before the season really gets away. Speaking of teams that need a lift, Freo hosting Collingwood. This one will be at Optus Stadium. Freo went down to the Saints, 55 points in the end, and Collingwood went down with a kick after the siren, not going their way, down by 3 points in, has to be an all-time great home and away game, without doubt about that. I'm going to go to the Dockers in a close one. Pies are going to be on a 5-day break. They had a super intense game against Geelong. I think they're going to be resting a bunch of players as well. That's at least been articulated as a possibility. And the Dockers have been good at home. That's about all they've done this year is be good at home. And I think they were so terrible. Mouth guards were in today. So, it's kind of now or never. And I think, it's their time to respond. And I think it was a draw last time they played. So Collingwood do travel away very well, so they won't have any dramas on where it is. It's just going to be, how tired they are from their 5-day break and almost finals-like game against Geelong. Over the Friday night game, we've got St Kilda hosting Carlton. This one will be at the MCG. I thought it was going to be at Marvel. There you go. All right, well, the Saints, they had a monstrous win over the Dockers, as we just mentioned, by 55 points. And then if we go over to the Carlton side of things, they were bitterly disappointing against the Crows after having 3 relatively good weeks on the track. But that kind of seems to be around the mark of teams that have 2 or 3 good weeks and then get a reality check. That's kind of been the season and how even the competition has been. I'm going to go Carlton to get the chocolates here. I think, they'll get their clearance game back up and going. The Saints are great at doing a one-off response, but consistent footy hasn't been their go. So I think, Carlton will be definitely seething from their loss over in Adelaide. They're better than that, and I just think it was really close last time they played, and it was at Marvel, and St Kilda can only win at Marvel. So, I think MCG will suit the Blues, and I reckon they'll get the job done. Over to the MCG again, we've got Melbourne hosting Hawthorn. The D's, what did they get up to? I think it was a comfortable win in the end over the Eagles after the Eagles had a bit of a fight back. And then on the Hawks side of things, I think they had a pretty comfortable win over the Tigers as well. I think it was around that 70-point mark. Hawks win and win well. Gorn's been great. But Hawks have got so much more talent. Score power, firepower, up forward. Should be getting the job done comfortably. Over to Marvel Stadium, we've got Essendon up against the Swannies. And what's Essendon up to? So they've had a couple of close games of late. They went through with a win over North Melbourne. A pretty close one, about 3 points in the end. Sydney in the Battle of the Bridge got back on the winners list. Players getting back into some form there. I'm going to go Sydney. They play pretty well at Marvel. I think they're ahead of where the Bombers are at, clearly, from a list perspective. So I think, and they're probably, I've got a little bit more trust in Sydney than I do Essendon. Will be a fiery game, though. There's no Luke Parker in the Sydney side anymore to give, not Liam Shields, Dylan Shield any slack there, but it'll be all right. What a game we got here. Saturday night, TIO Stadium, Gold Coast and the Western Bulldogs. Gold Coast went down to the Lions by 17 points, but the game was over essentially at three-quarter time. Got a couple late in the last quarter to get some respectability back on the scoreboard. And the Doggies, a 90-point win over Port Adelaide, which was amazing at Mars Stadium in Ballarat. I'm going to lean towards Gold Coast. Absolutely love what the Bulldogs are doing, but if I'm going by probability and just the masters at getting it done in Darwin, have to go Gold Coast. They accommodate very well to the heat and the environment there. Super well. Doggies have played there a little bit in the past against Port Adelaide at times. But yeah, just off that fact, Gold Coast are almost unbeatable there. If the grand finals played there, Gold Coast would win 10 flags in a row. Over to Adelaide Oval. What a game this is. Port Adelaide not getting a lot of love. They went down to the Dogs. That's right. They went down to the Dogs. 90 points in the end. And then Adelaide had a very big win over the Blues. So in pretty fine form there. I'm going to go Port Adelaide. I've gone some wacky tips this week, that's for sure. But I think Adelaide are the better side in terms of form. When these sides play in the showdown, it's pretty much 50-50. You just flip a coin and you still get it wrong. But no one's better than getting a emotional response like Kenny, and his fellas will be hungry as anything to amend their incredibly disappointing performance against the Dogs. Adelaide will definitely give it a good crack. And I think Adelaide are probably a decent chance to win. But yeah, I'll go Port Adelaide. I'm tipping Port Adelaide, locking it in, Eddie. All right, final games of the round. We've got the Sunday games here. Richmond up against the West Coast Eagles. Gosh, this game is tough to pick at the MCG. West Coast are okay at home, no good anywhere else. So I'm going to go Richmond. Not with a lot of hard to be confident about that. One of the rare times that they'll probably go into a game as favourites. I just can't really can't really see myself tipping the Eagles at the moment or in any game really. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Over to the Cattery and GMHBA Stadium, we got Geelong hosting GWS. And the Cats, 3-point winners in the end over the Pies in what was, absolute cliffhanger. My heart rate's still up and about from that game. GWS lost 3 in a row, so they're looking a bit wobbly. But gosh, I remember last year when they were playing bottom 4 footy, and then they come to Geelong and Toby Green kicks the winner on O'Shane Mullen. So every time I go, well, next time Geelong and GWS play, I know to tip GWS. But I just feel like we'll get the job done. Bailey Smith will definitely help out that midfield, no doubt about that. And I don't know, Giants are a little bit flaky at the moment. Not to say Geelong are playing perfect footy, but in Geelong, it's a tough road trip. Bonus point is Geelong have not beaten GWS in Geelong since 2018, so we'll be right up against it. Close game in that one. All right, final game of the round. We've got North Melbourne hosting Brisbane Blundstone Arena down there in Tassie. So I'm tipping North Melbourne, and I reckon they'll get the job done. But we're tipping the Lions. Lions are too strong there. Reigning premiers, getting the job done. I'm sure North will challenge at times, but Lions have been pretty promising, set on top of the table. Had the one loss, I think they've just had one loss to Collingwood. That was about it. All right, that's it. So I've gone Freo, Carlton, Hawthorn, Sydney, Gold Coast, Port Adelaide, Richmond, Geelong, and Brisbane. So could have egg on the face, could also get a decent score. Who knows? It's very, very unpredictable. The old, teams in form, teams out of form, teams that need to respond, teams with their season on the line. Going to be a massive weekend and see how it all pans out. All right, that's all from me, folks. Comment who you think's going to win over the weekend or any upsets that you have in mind that think are a good chance to happen over the weekend. Give the video a like if you enjoyed and subscribe away so you can see who I'm tipping each and every week. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. I'll see you on the next video.